Hello students, how it's going on your studies? Hope you all are learning well. Myself, Professor Anjali Patel from Raffle BBA College, Vapi. Subject Entrepreneurship Development with respect to your semester 5. Hope your previous video you have learned about the meaning of an entrepreneur and its quality. In previous video, we have covered who is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is considered to be a person who has innovative ideas, who has a risk taker ability, who has a organization skill that he used to organize his resources for his entrepreneurship. In simple way, a person who does something on his own is considered to be an entrepreneur. In previous video, you have learned about the qualities of entrepreneur. Hope you have learn and make note down of the point about the qualities of an entrepreneur. What qualities of entrepreneur is being covered? The first one was your motivation towards an achievement. Let's revise each point in a single line and learn qualities of entrepreneur for revision purpose. Motivation towards achievements. That means an entrepreneur should have a strong motivation towards his objectives, goals, target, and his achievements. Second was your creativity. An entrepreneur must be intelligent. He should have a creative thinking. He should analyze each problem and situation in precise way, and he should deal with it in a smooth way. That was your second point. What was your third point? That was the clarity. It means that an entrepreneur should have a clear objective, has to exact nature of the business, type of the business, and even he should know where to locate the business, where to start your business, that is the location of the business. Then you should be aware of the activity that to be undertaken. What should be a production process? What should be a matter of production? Where to sell the product? Where the money is required? And how to allocate the funds and how to distribute the funds? That clarity should be there among the entrepreneur. What was your fourth point? That is your business secret. An entrepreneur must be maintain his business secret within himself. And even his idea should not be known by the competitors so that competitors cannot use his idea for his profit gain. Fifth one was your human relation ability. That is, we should have a good human relation among the stakeholders. We should be emotional stable to handle each and everything of the entrepreneurship. Next point was your communication ability. That say that you should have a effective communication among the sender and receiver, so both can understand the message that is being passed by them. Mental ability say that you should be a analytic approach. You should have an analytic approach and have a creative thinking. You can handle day-to-day stress. You can sometimes handle your downfall of the business. That mental stability should be there among the entrepreneur that you have learned in mental ability. What was your next point? That was the risk taker. We have learned the key element of an entrepreneur, and in that we have covered that entrepreneur should have a risk taker ability. He should take a risk which arises from uncertainty as the future is uncertain. Apart from this, we have learned the other qualities also, that is vision. You should be clear. You should have a clear vision about your entrepreneurship. You should adapt the changes. You should be flexible among each and every methods that you are having among the entrepreneurship. You should be motivator. You should be self-motivator. You should have a strong willpower. You should be commitment towards the supplier, customer, government. You should be self-confidence to present yourself, and you should be a dreamer of your entrepreneurship. This was the learning about your qualities of entrepreneurs. In today's section, we will learn about its function, that is function of an entrepreneur. Function of entrepreneur, that means the activity which being performed by an entrepreneur, that we will cover in this topic. The entrepreneur is expected to perform the following function, or we can say an entrepreneur is expected to perform the following activity in his entrepreneurship. The first one is your idea generation. Second is your determination of an objective. Third one is raising of funds. Fourth one is your procurement of machinery. Fifth one, the requirement of raw material. Sixth one, market research. Seventh one, forms of an enterprise. 8. One assumption of risks. 9 point innovation. 10. Your business decision. And 11th one is your managerial function. Let's see each function in detail wise. And let's see what entrepreneur used to perform its activities. First one, that is your idea generation. This is the most important function of an entrepreneur. We know that idea can be generated from many sources. Now the question arises, how this idea can be generated or from which source idea can be generated? Idea generation can be possible through the vision, through your insight observation, through your experience, through your education, through your training, through exposure to the environment. Ideas even can be generated through a scanning of environmental, that is internal or an external. It can be generated through your market survey. It can be generated through any exhibition. It can be generated through a workshop, seminars. It can be generated to observations among your area. So, the most important function of an entrepreneur is idea generation. That is how idea can be generated to start your entrepreneurship. Second one is your determination of an objective. Entrepreneur, or I can see as an entrepreneur, I should must be clear about the following things or the following nature and a type of business. Like as an entrepreneur or as you an entrepreneur, you should be clear about the nature and a type of business, because it implies whether your enterprise belongs to the category of manufacturing or not, or it's a service oriented unit, because on that basis only an entrepreneur can very well carry out his venture with the objective determined by him or her. So, as an entrepreneur, you should be clear about the nature and the type of business, and you should be clear about whether you are starting a manufacturing industry or a service oriented unit. And according to that only, entrepreneur can carry out his venture with the objective which is being determined by him or her. Third one is raising of funds. All the activity of a business is totally depend upon what? That is our money, that is your finance and its proper management. It's a responsibility of an entrepreneur to raise adequate funds, either internally as well as external. In this matter, he should be aware of different sources of funds, and he should be identify the formalities to raise the funds. He must be aware about the government incentives as well as the scheme which can benefit his entrepreneurship. So raising of funds, it means that you should be aware about the various sources of the funds and your formality to raise the funds, and you should even aware about the government incentives and your scheme. That is your third activity being performed by an entrepreneur. Next one is your procurement of machinery, that is requirement of machinery. It's a function to acquire machinery for his need to specify. In your procurement of machinery, an entrepreneur should be clear about the detail of machinery. He should be clear about the installed capacity of the machinery. He should be clear about the name of the manufacturer and the supplier, whether the machinery is been imported or not, what will be the after sale service facility, what is your warranty period, what is the life of machinery. That all things should be cleared whenever you are acquiring the machinery. That is activity of an entrepreneur being performed. Next is your activity, that is your procurement of raw material. Entrepreneurs should identify each source of supply of raw material, and that source of supply of raw material should be cheap and a regular supplier, because it will help to reduce our cost of production and it can face the competition in a broader way. That is your procurement of raw material. Sixth one is your market research. Market research, we know that is a systematic collection of data regarding the product which entrepreneur wants to manufacture. In this, the activity being performed by the entrepreneur is that he should undertake market research in order to know the demand of the product, in order to know the price of the product, in order to know the size of market, in order to know what are the competitors of the product, and so on. So through the survey, it helps in formulating the strategy and can increase the sales of product with the help of the market research. And this activity can be performed by the entrepreneur only. Next function is forms of enterprise. Entrepreneur has to decide which form of ownership he need to be have for his entrepreneur. That is, entrepreneur will be take a form of sole proprietor, will take the form of partnership, will take the form of joint venture, will take the form of cooperative society. Determination of ownership right is important on the part of entrepreneur to acquire a legal title of an asset. So, forms of enterprises means you should be clear about which forms of ownership you need to be have. Next one, that is assumption of risks. Assumption of risks, that means entrepreneur should assume all the possible risks which is occurring from enterprise. That is, consumer tastes and preferences keep on changes. New inventions keep on coming and keep on going on. Such risks are to be considered. An entrepreneur has to be considered each risk before it affect your entrepreneurship. The entrepreneur should assume all the possible risks which is occurring from enterprise. That is, changing consumer tastes and preferences, new invention in the market behavior that should be studied and that should be cleared by an entrepreneur. Next point is your innovation. As we know that the key element of entrepreneur is innovation. The important function of entrepreneur is innovation. He should conceive the idea for the improvement in the quality of the product line. He consider the economic growth and technological feasibility in bringing up the quality. The introduction of different types of electronic instrument are the example of such an innovation of new product. We are seeing day to day a new inventions. That innovations are coming from as an entrepreneurs. Innovation is an ongoing process, either than once for all or a possible intermittent activity. So, the most important function of an entrepreneur that you should be innovator. He is a person who is generating a new idea. Next one is your business decision. As an entrepreneur, you need to take a business decision pertaining to enterprise. That is, entrepreneur has to decide the nature and the type of the goods to be produced, particularly industry. Even he need to be decide which offers should his entrepreneurship that need to be clear, which products will make him more profitable, will pay him the most and employ his methods and generate a more profit. He should take business decision very wisely so that it cannot affect his entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur can affect a suitable changes in the size of business, its location, techniques of production, does everything that is needed for the development of his business. All decision is totally depend upon the entrepreneur. So the entrepreneur has to take all the decision pertaining to enterprise. Last one, that is your managerial function. The entrepreneur turns perform the managerial function, though they are different from an entrepreneur function. We know that manager function are is planning, organization, staffing, and so on. He should formulate production plans. As an entrepreneur, you should formulate a production plan. Even you need to see the finance, that is a financial function. Even you should deal with the purchase of raw material and many other functions. So, Being an entrepreneur, you are performing your managerial function. Being an entrepreneur, you are turn performing the managerial function. That is your planning, organizing. You are planning. That is your production planning. You are planning about your objective. You are organizing the resources. That is an organization function. You are doing a marketing function. That is you are selling how your product will be sold. You are dealing with your finance function. That is how you can raise the money. So all of these are managerial function being performed by an entrepreneur. So being an entrepreneur, you are turning the performing the managerial function. Hope you are clear with the topic, that is functions of an entrepreneur, that is activities of an entrepreneur. Thank you all students.